Upon learning of the deception from a powerful, mysterious group called the Iron Throne, we learn of a second mine located in the Cloakwood Forest to the west of the Friendly Arm Inn. In going through Cloakwood Forest, we come across an elven hunter named Koran. Koran, being a skilled thief and archer, has a scheme to get wealthy by hunting wyverns and selling one of their skulls to the mayor of Baragost. We agree to aid Koran, and we allow for him to join our party. Hopefully his thieving and archery skills can help us to take on the Iron Throne. We also come across the story of a mysterious and powerful sword known as Spider's Bane that's hiding in the depths of the woods. Through fighting way too many spiders for my liking, we recover the blade. Sadly, we could not save the brave but foolish adventurer who tried to find it, but we were able to recover the body from the spider's victim for his brother. True to his plan, we discover a wyvern's nest, and Koran guides us to defeat the beasts. Thankfully, we come prepared, and these beasts aren't able to stand before us. However, as we move through the forest of Cloakwood, there's a sense that the Iron Throne has rooted itself deep in the land. Sure enough, we come across the Cloakwood mines, which have the appearance and function of a Motte and Bailey rather than just a mine for iron. Through the levels of the mines, we fight guards, mercenaries, hobgoblins, and even the undead to make our way to the master of the mines, a wicked wizard named Deveorn. There we face off against his powerful and arcane magic. Not all of us make it. However, sure enough, we pierce through his illusions, and we end his tyranny over Cloakwood.
You have dealt a great blow to the organization known as the Iron Throne, a defeat that you are certain will not be ignored. Now you must travel to the great city of Baldur's Gate, where you are certain to find the truth behind the strange plot that plagues the citizens of the Sword Coast.
With the death of the wizard, his forces crumble and flee. We chase them off, and then we start to look at what is left behind. We see that there's the key for the river plug that we can bring upstairs. We also see that there are 3 letters on Deveorn's person. The first letter reads, Deveorn, I have received your request for extra slaves. They will be sent as soon as possible. Events go well in Baldur's Gate. We have purchased one of the western noble estates to use as our base of operations. It is an ancient building, most likely constructed before the erection of the second wall. Its construction makes it a very defensible against those who would thieve it. Remember to ask Yeslik if he enjoys his new accommodations. From Raeltar. The second letter reads, Deveorn, our plans go smoothly. Saravok has arrived from our headquarters in Ardalin. He brings news from our superiors. They are pleased with our progress so far. I plan to place Saravok as the commander of our mercenary forces in the region. He has already sent his subordinate, Tazok, to the Wood of Sharp Teeth to take command of the forces located there. Things go apace here in Baldur's Gate. We have placed our first agent among the ranks of the Seven Suns Trading Coaster. This is Raeltar Flame Rule 1365. The third letter reads, Deveorn, as you've probably heard, the iron poison has begun to take effect around the coast, with the majority of iron imports being disrupted by Tazok. Almost all of it comes from the tainted source in Nashkel. The Scythian uprising in has ensured that no forces from that nation will be able to take action against our mercenary forces. However, the Flaming Fist has caught several of the Black Talon mercenaries. All of those captured have claimed allegiance with the Zentarum, and have thus shifted any suspicion away from the Iron Throne. I have sent Transic to work with the mercenaries in transporting iron to your base in Cloakwood. He has brought several bags of holding so that he alone can make trips into Cloakwood, thereby lessening the chance that the Flaming Fist trackers might find your stronghold. This is Raeltar Tarshak, 1368. Hiding in the library, we come across a gentleman who seems to be some sort of apprentice for Deveorn. His name is Stefan. He's confirmed pretty much what we already knew, that the Iron Throne is some sort of company or organization behind the Iron Crisis. I think the name may be indicative of what they try to trade, or what they claim to trade. They sent Malehe to destroy the effectiveness of the Nashkel mines while bandits stopped the incoming caravans. The perceived threat of the shortage was likely to exaggerate the issues, especially between Baldur's Gate and the southern nation of where Nashkel is. The Iron Throne was trying to come out and look like the saviors of the day. They were supposed to be riding in with their stores of iron to equip any troops for any sort of incursion that was to happen. With the bandit raids and the rumors about the Iron Throne figured that the Dukes of Baldur's Gate would think that they needed any arms or steel in order to prevent any attack and to have their forces armed. They figured that they could get large, exorbitant prices for the iron, and that sanctions would be placed against any competitors, therefore making it much easier for them to sell the iron. It was a quick way for them to install themselves as the underground power behind the Lord's Alliance. And of course, being a merchant consortium, all they had to do was prevent being caught. The 3 regional leaders of the Iron Throne had placed Deveorn in charge of the mine. Stefan also indicated that Deveorn was getting orders from somebody else too. They complained a lot about those orders. Stefan also confirmed the location of the main headquarters for the Iron Throne in Baldur's Gate City. With that, we go ahead and let Stefan go. He has nothing more to threaten us with. We find Deveorn's treasure cove, protected by a literal mustard jelly. We go ahead and make short work of the mustard jelly and raid the treasure that Deveorn has been hiding. We then make our way up to the upper levels, and we give the key to the miners. We tell him that we talked to Rill already, that they don't have to worry about the others. They're all outside and they're all safe, along with any other slavers that managed to get away. Hopefully we won't run into too many of them on our quest. With that, we go ahead and we prepare to flood the mine. Well, we prepare to run like hell. We emerge with the welcome glare of moonlight. It feels like an eternity. I wish the others were here. I think we should be able to save them, just like we were able to save the miners. The slave tells us that they have returned to Baldur's Gate, hopefully to tell tale of the evil that the Iron Throne has done. With that, we make our way to the Friendly Arm Inn, but we come across a group of mercenaries. Lamatha, I believe that's her name, she states that she asks if we are Andreas. Baloth answers,
You must
of course,
be loving this.
answers that he shouldn't have to answer to them. We go ahead and make short work of these mercenaries. Bounty hunters. Someone still clearly wants me dead. I'm not sure who, but whoever they aren't the bravest sort. Ambushing me in the woods after a nasty, horrible battle of our own.
It shall be done.
We managed to make fairly short work of them. We return to the Friendly Arm Inn,
Very well.
and we head to the temple to resurrect our friends.
Good on you if you say potato.
With that, the gods are merciful, and they manage to free us. They manage to free our friends from the grips of death. Kuran is inspired by our presence, being a daring young man. I tell him that I appreciate the sentiment, but I didn't really run away from home. I'm more of left with Gorion. He states that it's good that we're not such a bad fellow. Once we manage to resurrect our friends, we make our way to the Temple of Baragost. I did make a promise to Koran that we were going to turn in the wyvern's head for a bounty. We speak to the mayor, and he grants us a 2,000 gold reward for our troubles. Koran exaggerates, saying that it's powerful beyond belief. He does admit that it's a wyvern, but he states that it's not really a threat to adventurers like us. Koran finishes up outside by being proud of our accomplishments and that we did a good job, and he expects us to double our profits.
Very well.
He's a good sort. I like him. And he doesn't complain nearly as much as the other elf in our party. We return to Baragost to go to speak with Officer Vi. After selling any last bandit scalps we have, she thanks us for our services, and she states that the contingent of Flaming Fist soldiers have been ordered to return back to the city, and that she's to make her reports, and that we are to figure prominently in them, and that her accounts are going to be favorable. It makes me feel happy. I mean, after all, we did put in a lot of effort to reduce banditry in the region, and it's nice to get recognition for it. Not that I'm seeking recognition, but the honest truth doesn't hurt anybody. After getting some supplies from the Thunderhammer Smithy, we make our way north towards Baldur's Gate. Jahira points out that there are large insects in the area, and kegs. We might be running into a few of those on the way. We follow the road, and lo and behold, we come across incredibly large insect-like creatures. I suppose these things are massive, and their shells appear to be incredibly powerful. We'll go ahead and take these shells with us. Maybe Thunderhammer Smithy can do something with them if we end up running across him again. We reach the bridge to arrive to Baldur's Gate. It is a massive bridge. Worm's Crossing now is open to us, and we'll get to explore the city.
I serve the Flaming Fist.
We're stopped by a Flaming Fist mercenary. He states that the entrance tax is 6 gold pieces for each party of adventurers or travelers. He's stating to announce our point of origin. We tell him the truth. We are a Knight of Candlekeep. He states that we'll have to wait here, that his commander would like to have a word with us.
Citizens, please step forward.
The gentleman steps forward. He introduces himself as Scar, and he states that he's the second in command of the Flaming Fist. He does state that he does ask us if we were involved with the trouble with the Nashkel mines. We tell him the truth, that we were. He states that we've made quite a commotion up here in Baldur's Gate, and I'm not that surprised. He says he can't put a finger on a single source about what's been happening in the city, but it's been harder and harder to trust anyone. This is strange, considering that he probably has an entire troop of soldiers willing to help out in any way he can. He states that he needs outsiders to do some investigations, people with no connections to anyone inside the city, and asks if we'd be interested. We tell him that we would be. He tells us in confidence that the Seven Suns trading coaster, the leadership of which has been acting very strangely, and he'd like for us to investigate. He'd like for us to try to talk with their leaders to try to figure out why they've been making some strange financial decisions. He states that he's been friendly with the coaster's head, Jasso, but that he was rebuffed recently, very strangely, almost as if this is not his usual behavior. Now, it could be that there may be something going on, perhaps some sort of blackmail, or perhaps some sort of personal matter that we can help resolve. I think it's a good idea for us to go in, but first we decide to tell him that there's something that the Iron Throne has been behind a lot of the events along the coast. That the mines in Nashkel and in Cloakwood have been basically involved through the Iron Throne. The mines in Nashkel being tainted and having their iron becoming worthless, and the miners being attacked, and the mines in Cloakwood being a base of operations for more iron to be produced. And if the Iron Throne is willing to continue, then it's not going to bode well for the future of the region. He states that does shed light on new things, and that there's not much he can do about it at the moment, but he's going to look into it. He states that he wants us to investigate the Seven Sons compound and to try to use stealth in our investigation. I don't know if stealth is necessary. I think it's probably best if we just go in and ask. Maybe diplomacy might be a better option. But nonetheless, we're happy to do it, and we do it for free, but he does offer to pay us the gold for the favor. About as much as we would get from hunting more wyverns in the Cloakwood Forest. Hopefully this will be a lot safer. He wishes us the best of luck, and that when we're done, we're to meet him at the Flaming Fist Barracks, west of the Seven Sons. We cross the final gate, and we make our way in to Baldur's Gate proper.
Ho there, wanderer. Stay thy course a moment to indulge an old man.
Grant pipes up that he loves the city. Okay. Elminster speaks up. He comes to us, and he states that that we cross paths once again, and especially in the grand city of this. And we ask him what brings him here. And he states that all citizens of the Sword Coast eventually passed through Baldur's Gate, and that he knew that we would as well. He apologizes for constantly pestering us and meddling in our affairs. I don't really see his affairs as meddling, to be completely honest, but he does, of course, name drop Gorion, and I ask him, what does he know of Gorion? He states that he was a long friend and that they talked often through letters. He was quite the traveler in his day. I do know that. He did tell me many tales of his travels, and that he wanted to provide a stable childhood for us when I was growing up. He cared deeply for us. I'm honest, I still miss him. And while I wish to walk my own path, I do acknowledge that he was a great man. Elminster states that it should be imperative that I will go my own path, and that independence is always a wise course to follow. His worry is that my lineage is hard to escape the most, and I have bad blood in me. But Gorion thought that he could teach me well, and I think he has. At least I'd like to think he has. But I would be lying if I didn't say I never felt any influence of whatever blood is in me. He states, for better or for worse, what's bred in the bone will be dealt with in time, and that he's going to trust that we have the will to face what's in us. I tell him that I don't know what's going to come, but I'm going to try to do what I can. And he states that the future will be kind to us. And he states that we can certainly trust Scar the Flaming Fist, as well as his superior, Duke Eltan. And both are to be believed when they speak. And then he takes his leave and prepares to leave. But Jaheira states that she thinks it's rather fortunate that we've been approved by Elminster himself, and more importantly, that he gives us his advice. He tells us to fare thee well. I don't quite understand how to narrate that, but I suppose that's what he tells us to do. Well, we are in Baldur's Gate. Interesting that Emwyn is not quite as impressed. She hasn't piped up now. But at the current moment, let's go and head on over to an inn to try to rest and recover from our journeys.
Being the center of attention is something I normally aspire to, but I'm beginning to rethink that stance.
Being in the city, I don't blame you. We decided to stop in the Elfsong Tavern.
What you want?
In the tavern, Emwyn pipes up and states that this is as good of a place as any to celebrate. I ask her what's the occasion. She says it's our birthday. It's not my birthday. She said it could be. You don't know. Today's as good of a day as any. I mean, technically that's true. I have a birthday that Orion gave me, but I don't necessarily think that may not have been the actual birthday. She states that the nice thing about not knowing our actual birthday is we can celebrate any day we want. That people have the same boring old birthday as for them, and that we can do what we want. She states that she gives us a birthday present, and that she didn't want to spend the party gold on my present. Oh, it's a little necklace. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, amulet, I guess. She states that it's perfect for us. Oh, that's so sweet. And she states that the pieces of the necklace were Gorion's, and that she found it on his body that night. She said she would have given it to us earlier, but it was all broken, so she took the time to put it back together. I didn't even suspect that she was doing this. This is wonderful. Well, I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be wearing it all the time, but I'm going to keep it safe. I tell her to thank you. She says it was nothing. Now, she states that we need to get drinks and some cake.
Very well.
In the inn, we're stopped by a gentleman named Andreas, and he asks us if we're fighters and mages and monster killers. We tell him that we're maybe not all monster fighters and mages, but we do all have a monster's death to our name. He states that the roads are lined with bandits of every ilk and every fearsome reputation. Do us all a favor and put a blade in their gut. And then walks off. Well, we certainly are trying that. Jaheira asks if she's known me all of her life. She states that she has, and that we've been best friends. Jaheira states, never mind that. Emwyn asks if she did something wrong. Jaheira asks states that she's sorry, and that just needed to know, and didn't know how to put this delicately, but she asks if they've noticed anything different about me. Emwyn asks, what do you mean? Jaheira asks if there are behaviors that seem out of balance. You guys know I'm right here, right? Emwyn innocently states that I have the annoying habit of leaving my clothes all over the place, which I have to say I've been trying to get better about. She does say that it's rude and haunted, but that there's other weird stuff about him as we go along. Jaheira states that she's right. There's plenty of opportunity to get to know Andreas, get to know me. If only Khalid or her had visited Gorion more often. She states that she's going to try to get to know us better now. I figure we've been traveling together for a little while. Hopefully she knows enough about me to know that I would try to do the right thing.
Tonight you dream of blood. Not of blood on a blade or the blood on your hands, but an ichor that runs as a torrent through the realms. A flood that pours across the fields and forests. An ocean that floats you to the world's edge and threatens to cascade off into the void. This blood seems a frightening thing, a massive force that sweeps away all resistance. As a whole, it is a monster, and it cannot be stopped. Were it to be viewed from on high, it would seem to cover the entire world in its red-black embrace. You, however, do not have such a lofty perch. From within the deluge you can see it does not move as one, but is filled with currents, eddies, and undertows. Pockets of calm afford breathing space, whilst violent whirlpools threaten to rend limb from limb. Ultimately, it seems undirected and lacks a driving will, a quality you have in abundance. You may be caught within, but sufficient determination can shape what you need to survive. There are still options open, still choices to be made. As the tide presses forward, you steer as you wish, atop a ship called Persistence, and under sails made of resolve. A sudden and deliberate wave puts an end to your course, and to the dream. It would seem that the flood does have some will, and took offense to your enjoying the ride.
Well, that was a interesting dream. No dark voices, but certainly interesting nonetheless.
It shall be done.
With the daylight passing, it's probably wisest for us to head towards the Seven Suns to investigate them. Khalid points out that earlier that he can't believe that Elminster was able to see us, find us so easily, and hopes that our enemies aren't as well informed as he is. I state that he does have a good point, and it might not be pleasant, but there are sewer grates everywhere. We could use them to go undetected. He states that the enemies would probably know that maze well, and that the concealment might work more to their advantage than ours, and it would smell awful. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but who knows?
One is not forced to walk in the steps of their father.
Along the way, we come across a gentleman who greets us and opens up as calls Jaheira Dear One, and states that she is as radiant as ever, and she calls me her ward, Gorion's child. I don't recall being her ward, but I am certainly, could use more experience in the world. And he states that he will introduce himself, that he is Antilles Folsom of the Harpers. He's a friend of ours and a friend of Gorion's. I tell him that any friend of Jaheira's is a dear friend of mine. He states that Jaheira has cared for us so well and has kept us from the dark that was of my father. My father? You mean Gorion? He says that it is dark that would have had us dead. That is sadly true. He was killed. He says it is a dangerous place for us, and that he understands why we had to come. He also tells us to trust Scar and Duke Eltan, both of the Flaming Fist. They're friends of the Harpers, I would imagine, that they're going to aid us in our investigations of the Iron Throne whenever they're able to. He states that he can't hold here too long. He has grave business elsewhere. He asks us to care for Jaheira and that there's no one that he cares more for in his old elven heart. Jaheira states that between his and Khalid's coddling, she doesn't really need too many more people looking out for her. I agree. I think Jaheira is more than capable of looking out for her herself. Khalid pipes up that he agrees that she's anything but helpless. Jaheira states that is a wise way of looking at it.
Very well.
We travel to the west of the outer city and we come across the Seven Suns trading coaster. Might as well make our way inside.
Yes?
A merchant approaches Khalid. This is rather fitting, considering that he has a mercantile background. He asks what can we do for him. Khalid quite honestly states that he wanted to ask questions about recent financial decisions, that some people find them questionable. The merchant states that he's in a real hurry. He can't really say anything. Khalid presses the matter. Good for him. The merchant says that there are strange things happening at the Seven Suns, that he'd rather not talk about it. Everyone's been acting really strange. And he's seen some merchants change faces when they thought he wasn't looking. They changed faces. Some sort of shapeshifters have come into and taken over the Seven Suns. He tells us that he'd recommend that we get out of here. That's what he's planning on doing. Okay, shapeshifters.
Of course.
Perhaps they are nothing compared. Koran wants to interrupt me as I'm casting a spell. I will let him have his conversation. The only one evil here is Baloth. Okay, well, I might as well talk to these merchants.
Very well.
Leave us alone, will you? Nothing for you here.
He states that he has our face, but not our name. Strange way of looking at it, but I tell him my name is Andreas. I don't know why that might interest him. He asks, what about these people with you? Do they know you well? Well, they do. We are hearts brought together by the narrowness of the road. He states that that's a pity. Okay, that's rather strange.
Leave us alone, will you? Nothing for you here.
He asks, why do we still pester him? Why do we have any shame? Okay, I tell him you're merchants. Aren't you eager to sell me your wares? He sells to those who have money to buy, not adventuring paupers such as ourselves. We have a fair amount of money. We could certainly help with anything. I'm not satisfied with these answers. I press him again. He asks, do we seek the truth so earnestly that we'd be willing to lose everything? I tell him I will risk everything, but I shall not lose it. I know that there are no merchants. Now I tell him to show their true faces, that I may know them. He states that we're wrong on both accounts, that they are merchants, but not in the wares that we're familiar with. They are merchants of faces and names, merchants of identities, merchants of skin, even when the skin it contains is so rubbish. We are doppelgangers, and for a skin pittance, we sell fools to their deaths. And suddenly, they start to shape change. Strange creatures. We head upstairs to try to discover more about these creatures.
It shall be done.
Whatever these things are,
To victory.
they are strange. I'm certain that they have an evil about them. A cunning. Even if it's undetectable.
done.
Even when their faces are shown. We move to the basement. We end them quickly.
Of course.
Who else is here but
It shall
Jasso?
be done.
Hello.
Come to torment me some more, you shape-shifting bastards.
He accuses us of being shapeshifter scum. Now, I do not blame him at all. We tell him we're not shapeshifters. We are friends. We are sent by Scar, and we want to find out what happened with the Seven Sons. He introduces himself as Jasso, and he states that we have to help him. We're happy to. But we need to know what's going on. Before we take him anywhere, he needs to tell us what happened. He says that these doppelgangers, these shapeshifters, began infiltrating Seven Sons months ago. They must have started with some of the less important members of the Coster, and then eventually took him, and their leader took his face. They've been keeping him alive in order to gain information through torture. He doesn't know what their purpose is, other than they've been running his business incredibly poorly. They've been making strange decisions, selling off assets and whatnot. He states that we're to be rewarded, and when we meet Scar again, he's going to have Scar give us the reward. But he has to be off. He has to undo all the damage that these creatures did. And it's going to take him a while to get out the stench. We let him go, and we know that our task here is done.
Very well.
We step outside, and we're immediately greeted by a Flaming Fist officer. She states, "You there! Before you go causing any more trouble, I insist that you seek an audience with Scar if you haven't already." I state that if he wishes to speak, I will speak with him. Where is he located? She states it's wise to seek the sanction of the Flaming Fist. Scar waits for you at the Flaming Fist headquarters in the southwest quadrant of the city. That's exactly where I was planning on heading. Thank you, Lola.
Of course.
I'm happy to have your guidance. We come across a large castle-like structure that appears to be the Flaming Fist headquarters. And we open the large doors and make our way in. We greet Scar, and we tell him that the doppelgangers have taken over many of the highest offices of the Coster, but they're all dead, slain by us. He congratulates us, of course, stating that Lola has already lectured us between the difference of sanctioned and rogue actions. Well, he also states that we can't always go by the book. And he asks about Jasso, and we tell him he's alive and well and back in control of the business. Scar states that he's impressed and that we're as good as our word. He's looking into information about the Iron Throne, but he is, of course, willing to give us triple our original agreement on the payment, probably from Jasso's generous donation. He does ask if we are interested in another job, and we tell him that we're always interested in more work. He states that every night, people have been disappearing from the different streets of the city, and that his men have been scouring the city to try to find the culprit, but with no avail. People have been scared to leave their homes at night. Something has to be done, and done quickly. I'm happy to look into the matter. He states he wants us to patrol east of the city and find an entrance to the sewers. If we get lucky, we can find out what's been happening, and to see him at the Flaming Fist headquarters once we discover what on earth has been taking people. He says the only clue that's led us to the sewers is that there have been tracks of a many-legged creature, some sort of centipede-like monster. We go ahead and accept the job. We head to the eastern part of the city, and we head towards the sewers. We step down and we immediately see spiders. No doubt these spiders might be the culprit, but Usually spiders will not go hunting people at night. Plus, spiders don't seem to be millipede-like creatures or centipede-like creatures. Best we keep looking. Come upon an opening and we see carrion crawlers and an ogre mage. The ogre mage shouts to us, "So, some puny surface dwellers have come to beat their death. It'll be extra treasure for my collection. My pets have been causing so much anguish in the surface realms, haven't they?" He obviously uses these pets to stun opponents while he takes their treasure. He says, "My pets killed these intruders." Khalid is overwhelmed by the stench, but Jaheira steadies him, and Khalid stays strong. And he says that he will put an end to this horrible monster. And the horrible monster says, "I think not."
Luck be a lady.
My blade will cut you.
I'm gonna work out some anger on you.
For the fallen!
As my blade goes through the creature's heart, I slice it upward and slice off his head. It's a rather gory scene.
Very well.
Upon the collection, there seems to be a ruby ring with a unique sigil on it. I'm fairly certain that we will get a reward for this. We leave the eastern part of the city and head back to the Flaming Fist headquarters. Inside, we speak with Scar, and we tell him that there was an ogre mage holed up was responsible for the victims' disappearances, that he would have the crawlers have the helpless prey as food while he would take any valuables that they had. He states that he asks us if we have any of the items possessed by the ogre's victims, that one such ring, the Sashin Star family ring, was lost. Now we're happy to return it. That must be the ring that was returned. He states he'll throw in a 3,000 gold bonus for us. That he needs some people to help him investigate the Iron Throne. He needs to finish up some paperwork, and he wants to meet us outside the Flaming Fist headquarters. We'll go ahead and chat with him there.
Of course.
We step outside, and shortly after, Scar steps out
Shall be done.
and invites us in to have an audience with the Grand Duke. He tells us to follow him, and that we'll head up to the main headquarters. He introduces us to Duke Eltan, a member of the Lord's Alliance. Duke Eltan asks us if we've had any involvement with the merchant society known as the Iron Throne. And we tell him that we've learned that they've been involved in a plot that threatens the stability of the city. He states that we've been a thorn in the side of the Iron Throne. That is true. And that they have an obvious hatred of us. That is also true. And that they've been dealing with the bandit and caravan raids, and that everyone's been blaming the Zentarum. The Zentarum is not necessarily a good group of people, but he does state that there's it's too obvious for them, and they wouldn't have much profit in these raids, whereas the Iron Throne has everything to gain. And not only that, but it's leading to additional tension between Baldur's Gate and the nation of Om to the south. Duke Eltan states that his hands are tied. He can't really act against the Iron Throne unless he had some evidence of wrongdoing. However, he does state that if we were to go in, act as spies, and investigate the Iron Throne and find that evidence, then we would be able to bring that evidence to him, and he could do something about it. He would pay us very well, although, to be honest, we'd be honored for the task. He states that we've made a wise decision, and that we're going to have to return to him as soon as possible when we get the information. Interestingly enough, we've actually passed by the Iron Throne headquarters.
Of course.
It is right near the docks. It is a large, imposing structure, and hopefully we can get in easily. Although, I have a different idea. They did suggest using stealth and guile, and that's not necessarily a bad idea. I have Baloth cast a spell on us to make us all invisible.
Of course.
And, under the cover of night, we make our way inside.
Of course. Very well.
Inside, we are
Of course.
quiet as can be. We walk past any guards that we see, any merchants that we see, and we make our way upstairs.
Now this I like. Secure a room for us at once.
I tell him to be
Of course.
quiet. I continue to look around. Try to see if there's any information on this level. I certainly can speak to anyone, but I don't know who exactly to speak with. I don't know exactly what information they have. Now, be quiet. My goodness.
Very well.
I cannot believe I am the only one who understands how stealth works. We through the quiet of our eyes, we see a frustrated political official, Emissary Tar, I think her name is. Actually, I have no idea who it is, but I imagine that she's a rather important official in the city. Walk past one of the guards and make our way upstairs.
Of course.
We go towards the back offices here.
I love money. Yes, I do. I love money. Yes, I do.
There's nothing in these back offices. No desks or anything like that that has information for us. With that, we'll go ahead and move up one more flight of stairs.
Very well.
Suddenly, we see that same politician, Emissary Tar.
Don't give me any lip, peasant. Do you know who I am?
But she was just downstairs. What on earth happened? I'm so confused.
Very well.
I make my way down to the back layers, and I see a dead body.
Of course.
That's the same woman. So not only is the woman downstairs, but she's also up here and in this room at the same time. Obviously, doppelgangers at work. And if they're taking over political officials, this could be a nasty, nasty bit of business. I see a desk and I go ahead and check it out. I break my invisibility, but this is worth it. With this, I see that there's 2 letters on the table. The first letter reads, "Father, I have received your letter, and I can assure you that the mercenaries led by Andreas will no longer trouble our operations. I have dealt with them personally. Before dying, they were most forthcoming in their revelations, as it is as you surmised. They were agents of the Zentarum. I am also writing to tell you that I cannot attend the meeting at Candlekeep. Some problems have arisen with the Chill and Black Talons. They have had trouble working with each other, and I am needed there to smooth over any dissension. I am sorry that I will not be at your side. Saravok." Who is Saravok's father? I'm a little bit confused by that. Not only that, but there's the Zentarum. This is quite confusing. Although, I will state that it is interesting that they are trying to pin everything on the Zentarum, and that they are trying to state that I am already dead when I'm clearly not. The Saravok clearly wants to end my life, and he's been pitting he's been betting against me, it seems, from the start. The other letter comes from a gentleman named Tooth. This is to Raeltar. Raeltar, my superiors are intrigued by your proposal. I would like to discuss it further. It is not through correspondence such as this. The Harpers and Zents have been very active in this region of late. It would be very unfortunate if they tried to disrupt an alliance between our 2 organizations. If you, Brunos, and Thaldorn were to meet with us in the safety of Candlekeep, my superiors would be much relieved. Please send a response ASAP. This sounds very interesting. Alright, this is the evidence we need. But I am intrigued. I want to find out what's going on with this politician and figure out what this doppelganger is going to do. I speak to this gentleman in this room.
Hello, I don't want any trouble.
He asks, "What are we doing?" He says, "Get out of this building before I call the guards." We're not leaving until he answers some questions. He states, "We're here to kill him. You can't kill me. I'm one of the leaders of the Iron Throne." I tell him where the leaders are for the Iron Throne. If he tells us where they're located, we'll spare his miserable life. He states that they're at Candlekeep attending business with some of the benefactors of the South. All right, I tell him that he's free to go. Naturally, he has given us the information we need. But again, I'm still intrigued by what's going on up here. I uncovered that these individuals are mostly evil. Some of them aren't. They're probably mercenaries of some kind. With that, I make my approach.
Of course.
One of the individuals states he asks, "Who dares intrude on our negotiations?" I tell him, "My name is Andreas." I wonder if he could answer a few questions. "Andreas, you say," he says. "Yes, Saravok warned us that you might try to meddle. That meddling will stop here, however." I tell him, "Who are you to say so? I've crushed all of those before you." He says, "Those before us were fools, as you are. Those before us were weak, as you are. Those before us were not Zalmar and Garadush and Naaman and Diab and Shanera and Kalos and or Asim or Alai. Those before us were dead, as you will be. It has been decreed, so shall it be done. So orders Saravok." It's clear that Saravok must be a major player in this, as everyone goes hostile, and this emissary Tar shows her true face. With that, we are engaged in combat.
For the fallen!
Oh, my heart's really not in this.
We make short work of these mercenaries. And it's no surprise that Zalmor Cloudwife was involved in all of this from Zarevok's orders. What has me concerned is the fact that he refers to him as the first of the faithful. He states, "Be assured that I will not belittle your devotion with simple guard duty. This chore is of particular interest to me as it is to you." This seems like almost a religious order. "Do so, and you shall please me greatly. Such is your charge. Do not fail in this." It's a simple order, but it seems unlike anything I've heard. After recovering all the items, we decide to make stealth the watchword of our day. And we leave as we came in.
Very well.
We step out of the Iron Throne
It
headquarters.
shall be done.
The rain falls down. We see a Flaming Fist soldier waiting for us. I go ahead and approach.
Very well.
I serve the Flaming Fist.
He states that we're not here to hurt him, and we ask him what news does he bring. He states he's a native of Scar, and he wishes that we should go to visit either him or Duke Eltan immediately. I ask him what does he wish to say. He says he doesn't know, but it's just for him to discuss, and he waits for us at the Flaming Fist headquarters. That's exactly where I was planning on heading anyway.